What's up, guys? The Arid Lord is here. Got NFL vlog for you. Probably one of the last I'll make of the year, all depending what happens this coming Sunday. I figure I started the series where I was reviewing all of the games on Sunday, so I might as well finish it. I'm actually going to be picking all of the playoff games for the divisional that are coming this weekend. Just my predictions. I think at the beginning of the year, I actually predicted. I never uploaded the video, but I uploaded, I did a video about who I thought was going to get to Super Bowl 53, and I actually predicted the Jaguars and the Rams, and I don't think many people expected the Jaguars season to tank into no man's land like it did. The Rams are still in it. They had the second round bye, and they're playing the Dallas Cowboys, which is going to be an interesting game. I mean, the Cowboys, whether you love them or hate them, I mean, America's team, everything that goes with that. Haven't won a championship. They haven't even made it to the NFC Championship in a long time. So, we'll see how that game goes. I'm going to make my official predictions now. I'm just going to kind of go in order here. So I guess we'll go with my team last. So we'll do that. We'll pick that game last. I guess I will start with the Cowboys and the Rams. The one interesting thing is that the LA Coliseum where they play isn't necessarily home advantage for the Rams, as crazy as that sounds, because in a way, it kind of feels like a neutral field. Like, it's not a very established football field. They're building that new LA stadium that's going to be for the Chargers and the Rams that they're going to share, much like how the Jets and the Giants share MetLife Stadium when they play their games. So as of now, like, while the construction's going on, it's kind of this neutral field. So you might get a lot of Cowboy fans who venture out to Los Angeles for that game. So it's going to be kind of interesting knowing just how ravenous Cowboy fans are. They haven't been in the divisional game in 2 years. I mean, but 2 years ago they were the 1 seed, 13-3. Many people had them going to the Super Bowl to face the Patriots, but the Packers kind of upset them. And, a very close back and forth game, but Mr. Rogers did what he does best. He's not in this conversation for many reasons, but what is the key? I mean, who do you think will win this game? There's something in my gut. I don't know. There's something in my gut that's telling me that the Cowboys are going to win this game, which is crazy because, again, they haven't been to an NFC Championship game in a long time, and this would fit the narrative that they get to the divisional game and then they choke. Of all the divisional games they've been to, I mean, there was the one in 2008 against the Giants. They choked that one. And then there was the one where they went to Green Bay, and that was the Dez Bryant catch. So, that's a toss-up. Even if the Cowboys get that touchdown, will Rodgers go back down the field and score? That's to anyone's predictions. So that was another divisional game they lost. And, of course, the one where they had the 1 seed, the NFC. The one I just talked about against the Packers. So, for them to get to the NFC Championship the first time since the 90s, the NFC would be in trouble in that case. Now, I think that the Cowboys shouldn't venture away from the game plan that they've had throughout the playoffs. I think they should just stick to their game plan. I think they should, basically dominate the time of possession with Ezekiel Elliott. You got Amari Cooper, you got Gallup. I mean, you got some good receiving options. There was that one receiver that had that horrible injury against the Seahawks last week, which was just absolutely gruesome, the way he fell on that leg. Obviously, he's not playing. But the one thing, like the one wild card is going to be Dak Prescott, like whether he has a good game. And there are just so many games this season where he's just held the ball too long, and he gets in trouble when he does that. And especially, you got Sam Darnold, and you got some really good defensive players over on the Rams side who are going to want to make noise, and I think they can make noise against Dak if he makes just a little mistake here and there. Like, I think it's going to really cost him in the down the stretch of the game as the game goes on. If they try to deviate and do tricky stuff, I think the Cowboys will lose. But if they stick to their game plan and have a clean game, doing it their way, I think they can win. I just think they can. It's nothing against Jared Goff and the Rams. I mean, they were in the wild card game last year, but they had a very abysmal performance. I know that they're basically the U.S. Treasury picking up all these great players, two ex-Patriot players, Aqib Talib and Brandon Cooks, which is kind of ironic. Those guys are still tearing up the field, and of course we didn't hold on to them for whatever reason. We could definitely use Brandon Cooks right now. That's all I'm saying. But I got the Cowboys in like a low scoring. I'd say I'll go like, because the thing is, if I do low scoring, then I'm not giving the Rams enough credit. Maybe I'll say like 30. This is tough. I'll probably do like 28 to 21. I'll say Cowboys. I want to keep it in that low 20s range. The Cowboys have amazing, their defense with Van Der Esch, and they got some young players who are ready to make noise just as much as the Rams are. So I don't see this game going high. Also, the Cowboys' average points, other than that Jacksonville game, they really haven't scored a large number of points in the games they've won. So I'm going to go with that score for that divisional game. You look on the other side of the NFC, and you have the juggernaut Saints against the Eagles, and this would have been the NFC Championship matchup last year had the Saints not choked the game away with the freaking Minneapolis Miracle. And in my opinion, I think the Saints would have won that game, and Kamara thinks the same thing. Like, if they had gone to Philadelphia, I seriously think Drew Brees and that team would have beat the Eagles, that would have had implications for the Patriots, because the Patriots then would have played the Saints in the Super Bowl. And considering that they had beaten them earlier that season by a dominating number at New Orleans, I certainly think that Tom Brady would have won that Super Bowl last year. Now that's a cheesy way to say, oh, if our opponent was different, we would have won. I'm just in hindsight, I think that they would have beaten the Saints, but talking about this season, I think that the Eagles are going to get more than they're expecting, because this is the matchup they would have got last year. So this is the ultimate test. Would they have beaten that Saints team like they did last year? Will they do it this time? And the answer is no, resoundingly from me. Nick Foles is on this magic carpet ride, and they should have lost that Bears game. I'm just going to say it. If that Bears kicker, they don't ice the kicker like that Pepsi commercial. Literally, it happened literally like the Pepsi commercial. I was hysterical watching that game when the Bears guy missed it after Doug Peterson called a timeout. If you guys have seen that, the ice the kicker, Ron Rivera from the Panthers, they have him. Everyone's cracking open their Pepsis. Everyone drinks. They all exhale at the same time. The guy it's all over. Like, if you watch cable TV, it's all over television. It's ridiculous, but that's what it came down to in order for that game. Like, if the Bears make that field goal, they're going to Los Angeles to take on the Rams, and the Cowboys are going to take on the Saints for a rematch of the game that they lost earlier. As fortune would make it seem, that's not going to be the case. But that was a low-scoring game. You got to give Nick Foles credit, because his offensive line was able to stop the dominant Khalil Mack, the Bears defense was making noise all this season, and Philly does have a good offensive line. That's a testament to last year's Super Bowl when we had James Harrison, Trey Flowers, pretty good pass rushers who just weren't able to. They didn't get pressure on Foles the whole game. 41 fucking points, and they weren't able to get pressure on him the whole game. So, but again, Foles was making a lot of mistakes. He had 2 interceptions. That wasn't a clean game. It was an ugly game for him. And I kept saying, the Eagles didn't win that game. The Bears lost it. That was just my opinion. Don't think that's going to happen this weekend. you got Drew Brees, an experienced quarterback. You got Ingram. You got Kamara with the running backs. You got Michael Thomas. The Saints are a superpower. They're the juggernaut. They remind me of what the Falcons were 2 years ago, where the Falcons had that high-powered offense. They were making a lot of noise in the same division, the NFC South, and they're looking to make their Super Bowl run. I would not be surprised, and actually that would probably be a close second choice. Rams or Saints, they are the 2 seeds in the NFC, but I would not be surprised if the Saints got to the Super Bowl. And it's looking like that's likely the team that's going to go to the Super Bowl, unless the Cowboys can shut them down if they get there, or the Rams conversely. But I definitely think the Saints are going to the NFC Championship game. They've got home field advantage. They've so much going for them. I don't think Philly stands a chance. They don't got Ajayi and Blunt. They're 2 big running back tanks that they had eating up yards last year. They don't have that running game anymore. So, you got Ertz, you got Foles, Alshon. I mean, you got your receivers, but you just don't have the team you had last year. And to have that last-second thread victory, not only that, I remember the regular season game, 40-plus points the Saints hung on the Eagles in the same dome that they're playing. So I don't think you got to change much with the script. I know, again, it's every year you get this, especially after last year, you got this underdog Philly team that's looking to make this impossible run, but they can't do it from home. Last year they had a first round bye and they had home field advantage throughout all of their playoff games except the Super Bowl. This time they have to go to the wild card and they have to go to the divisional and NFC Championship game all on the road, whether they're going to Dallas, LA, or New Orleans Coliseum. They're going to one of those 3 places. They're going to one of those this weekend. And I think they're going to lose. I think this is going to be, I'll say 38-24. That's what I'm going to say. I'll give Nick Foles some points. I think there are some cracks on the Saints defense, but I'm not going to give him a huge no. I just don't think the offense is clicking well enough for them to get to the monstrous numbers of points that the Saints are. Just my opinion. If the Saints did somehow lose, that would be a huge upset, knowing what a juggernaut they are. Drew Brees getting up to Tom Brady's age, he wants at least one more Super Bowl ring. I could feel that he's looking for it, that second ring, and this is really his Super Bowl to get it. I'm saying this is the one for Drew Brees to win. So we'll see if he can do it. Then you go over to the AFC. You got the Colts and the Chiefs. This is an interesting matchup because though it would be easy to choose the Chiefs because of all of the great magical offense that Mahomes has put up this year, I wouldn't count the Colts out. Andrew Luck from a team, I didn't think the Colts were going to do anything. Going into the season, I was like, Andrew Luck, he had a few shots at championship games, playoff games, but he's always going to be the team that gets beat by the bigger juggernauts like the Patriots or the Broncos back when Peyton was with them. But I think Andrew Luck's come out of the woodwork. They got that running back Mac of theirs that's kind of like an Ezekiel Elliott where he can get lots of yardage and kind of eat up the clock. And with an offense like that Mahomes has, I'd say keeping him off the field is like priority number 1. And especially the Chiefs' defense is terrible. And all of the games they've lost, like the amount of points the other team was able to score, I'm talking the 50-plus points the Rams put on them, the 40-plus points my Patriots put on them. You see the games that they've lost, it's been by big numbers. They haven't been low-scoring games. All the games that they've lost have been by, big chunks. So, can Andrew Luck do that? I think he can. Somewhere I'm saying I have a feeling that the Colts are going to upset the Chiefs. And that would be perfect if the Patriots were to win because then they get home field for the AFC Championship. So as a Patriots fan, I want the Colts to win. And I get to see their matchup before the Patriots play their game. So that'll be really interesting. So what do I say for a score? Oh my God. The thing is, this game really could go either way. And it's weird for me to say that because in one reality, you got different realities. The Chiefs, when I say realities, there's a bunch of ways this game can go. You got the instance where the Chiefs just outcoach the Colts. You got Frank Reich in his first year as Colts coach, done a phenomenal job, really pounding the Texans convincingly last week. But I don't know if he'll have what it takes. Andy Reid, as much as Andy Reid has choked in the playoffs, he's a veteran coach. He did get his Eagles to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots, of course, but he's been to a lot of playoffs. That's the thing. Like, Andy Reid has always sniffed at the playoffs. He's been to wild card games, divisional games, the Super Bowl once, but he's never held the trophy. He's never hoisted that Lombardi trophy, and he's a really good coach. If Mahomes stays with the Chiefs and Andy Reid stays there coaching them, I'd have to say that Mahomes will hoist that trophy at some point, but I don't know. I mean, the Colts could be a dangerous matchup. I will say that. It's an opponent that the Chiefs, they didn't play him in the regular season, did they? No, I don't think they did play him. So that's also, uncharted territory. Had the Chiefs played the Ravens or the Chargers, because those were the other two teams they could have played, they would have been in familiar territory because they did play those games. They did win those games by close margins. Could have gone the other way, but they did have experience playing them. The Colts is an unknown. I mean, you can look at the film, but there's something about playing them in a game and getting that experience. So what would I say for a score for this? I got to give Mahomes points. I don't know. I want to say Andrew Luck gets close, so I'll say 34-30 Chiefs. As much as I want Andrew Luck to win this game, I just don't know if he can. Now, if they do, I won't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I think literally the only game this weekend that could surprise me is the Eagles-Saints game. Like, if the Eagles beat the Saints, I'd be shocked. But if the Cowboys beat the Rams, I wouldn't be surprised. If the Colts beat the Chiefs, wouldn't be surprised. And now, of course, we get to the final matchup, which involves my Patriots, as you guys know. New England Patriots fan. I was doing all those vlogs reviewing their regular season games. I'm going to say, breaking it down, the Chargers have the better roster. All right, they got a lot of Pro Bowlers. You got Phillip Rivers, an experienced, aged quarterback, just like Brady. Brady's got all the postseason success, of course, the greatest of all time, undisputably. But this is for me, like, these are some of the things that I was getting frustrated about in some of my vlogs earlier this year. If you guys watched the vlog I made about the Lions game, the Jaguars game, I don't think I made one about the Titans. I don't think I made one about the Steelers, because I stopped doing it after the Packers game. But I did speak to the frustrations I was having with the Patriots and the inconsistency on both offense and defense. And to think that all of the teams that the Patriots lost to, none of them made the playoffs. The Titans, the Jags, the Steelers, the Dolphins, and what was the other one that they lost to? Titans, Steelers, Jags, Titans, Steelers, Jags. Damn, I'm gonna blank on this one, man. The Dolphins. The hell was the fifth team that they lost to? Hold on a minute. This is going to bother me. I'm going to do this on the fly right now. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, Lions, Jags. Oh, yeah, Lions, I guess. I already said the team twice. I just messed up. Yeah, Lions, Jags. Yeah, Lions, Jags, Titans, Steelers, and Dolphins. All five of those teams did not make the playoffs. I mean, the Steelers were close, but, their own self-destructing organization and divas cost them their season. But, that's not something to be proud of. Like, when people say that, it's like, oh, like, look at that. Like, all these teams that thought they were so cocky because they beat the Patriots, they lost and now they're not in the playoffs at all. That's true. Yes, a lot of these teams think that they've won the Super Bowl when they beat the Patriots. But at the same time, that's not something to be proud about. Like, the Patriots should be beating these teams. Like, the fact that they can get the big wins over the Chiefs, over the Packers, over some, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, like, it's annoying. The Texans, the beginning of the year, they beat the Colts as well. Like, they beat a lot of one of the teams that's in the playoffs right now, and it's frustrating that, like, for a lot of teams it's the opposite. Like, for the Chiefs, it's the opposite. They lost to all of the teams that were in the playoffs: the Chargers, the Patriots, the Rams, the Seahawks. I think, yeah, literally, almost. I think all of their losses are to teams that were in the playoffs last week when it was Wild Card Weekend. That's crazy to think about. Which, that's how it should be for the Patriots. Like, they shouldn't have had these losses to these terrible teams. So which way do you lean? Because Patriots are undefeated at home, okay, but they have this inconsistency. They lost Josh Gordon. That's huge, not having that deep wide receiver threat. Who do you give the edge to? I mean, for me, I'm going to give a slight edge. Despite everything I just said, I'm going to give a slight edge to the Patriots, only because home field advantage. It's going to be freezing cold when that game starts. And Tom Brady. Even though he's 41, I think Tom Brady will be able to dissect the Chargers and figure it out. I mean, they've got a great running back in White, Burkhead, and Michelle. I think they can dominate the time of possession, kind of almost like all of a sudden New England has this run game that they're kind of relying on, which is not like the Patriots. Usually it's Brady setting up his targets: Edelman, Amendola, Hogan, Gronkowski. But Gronkowski's injured all over the place. He's been so inconsistent. Edelman's had some drops. Amendola's gone. Cooks is gone. Hogan, he can be the deep guy, but it's not always consistent. I mean, Josh Gordon was an emerging talent, and I'd feel way more confident if he was playing, because you get that one extra deep threat that the Chargers then have to put personnel on, and to replace him with Dorsett. I mean, Dorsett has had some moments to shine, but I don't know if he's the answer. Like, I've never looked at him and been like, yeah, he's the answer to the receiver problem. Like, for me, the Patriots aren't going to solve their wide receiver problem until next season. Like, so for now, they have to play with a team that's limited. Like, it's a limited team that doesn't have that branch of talent that they had the past 2 years. The past 2 years that they've gone to the Super Bowl, they had that loaded roster of talent and players that were healthy and didn't have the inconsistencies that they're having this season. So, how many points can I say? I will give Brady. I don't want to go against my own team here. So I'm going to say the Patriots win 28-24. I'm going to say that it's a 4-point game. Phillip Rivers put some points up. Maybe even the Patriots, they're trailing in the third quarter, but then Tom Brady leads them in the early fourth quarter, deep fourth quarter, and the defense sees the effort that their offense is putting out, and they come together and shut down Phillip Rivers. So that's my prediction for all of the playoff games. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know a lot of you guys are Walking Dead fans and probably, don't like my NFL content as much. I had addressed that in my perspective log a few weeks ago, but since the season's wrapping up, I figured I'd do this just to go over where all the teams are at. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see if these predictions pan out. Maybe I'll make another one of these for the NFC and AFC Championship, because that's only 2 games I got to predict, and then the Super Bowl, that's only 1 game. So so potentially 2 more vlogs, potentially, and then for next season, maybe I'll just talk football amongst my buddies, keep the channel to The Walking Dead, because that's the content you guys like to see. And The Walking Dead will be coming back in a month, so we will have more stuff to talk about. So, all right, guys, thanks. Peace out. That is if I could stop my broadcast.